Good morning. We are once again in Erie, Pennsylvania. And when I looked at my stream from yesterday, there was quite a few things that weren't working right. And so I decided I was going to go ahead and I'll just do the same route today. And weather looks like it's a little bit better, so hopefully that's true. So we'll find out. Let me look. Yeah, it's okay. So we're gonna fly to from Erie to Jamestown, New York, to Dunkirk, New York, and then to back to Erie. And I may have a dead battery. Running the reality expansion pack, and if you leave something in the whatever state it was when you last used it, that's where it's going to be. So more than likely I have a dead battery, but we're going to go through the checklist for it, and we'll fix it then. So let me alrighty. So want to make sure so I got a checklist here to kind of help me, because yesterday I didn't have my camera on, and I always have my camera on, but for some reason recently when I start up my computer, that camera doesn't get recognized on startup. So so after the computer started, I have to unplug it, plug it back in, then it seems to work. So I don't know what that's all about, but that's what it is. So beyond mic sound, yeah.
Check. OBS sim sound.
OBS sim sound. Yeah, I think so. Oh yeah. I can certainly tell I got a dead battery. Nothing lights up here. Cool. Yep.
Check. OBS streaming.
Yeah, we're streaming.
Check. OBS webcam.
Yep, to look hard. Yeah, it's there.
Check. OVR toolkit windows.
Yep, they're here.
Check. Fly with Lewis sound script.
Yep, that's here.
Check. Avitab plugin.
That's here.
Check. Rep weight and balance.
All right. We'll make sure we get enough fuel to fly. Yeah, I didn't fly very far. On a 17. Fly. That looks good.
Check. Rep maintenance log.
Oh yeah. A rep maintenance log. Oh, looks good. 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 0 watt hours, yeah, I would say. There we go. Okay. Okay.
Check. Cold engine start checklist. Brakes. Test and set. Fuel selector. Both. Fuel shutoff valve. On, in. Beacon. On. Avionics switch. Off. Master battery. On. Throttle.
Erie International Tom Rich Field information.
Open
November
1/4 inch.
1600 Zulu.
Mixture. Idle cut off. Auxiliary pump. On. Increase mixture till fuel flow reached, then cut off. Fuel flow. Reached. Mixture. Cut off. Auxiliary pump. Off. Starter. Engage. Mixture, at engine start. Ridge. Master alternator. On. After engine start checklist. Engine. RPM 1000 RPM. Oil pressure. Check. Mixture. Leaned max. Flaps. Retract. Generator amps. On. Avionics. On. Instruments.
Okay, south. South. So yesterday the HSI wasn't working. I don't know why it wasn't, but it wasn't. So that's one thing I'm gonna check. That's interesting. Say altimeter.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf altimeter is 3063 at Erie International Ridge.
Set altimeter 3063.
Generator switch off.
Set altimeter 3063.
Altimeter 3063.
But that one didn't set. That's interesting. So there, that button is connected, but the gauge is not. It's independent. So we got to be set at 730. And it's so easy to hit the center of that, and then it goes back to 2992. Okay. Set altimeter 3062.
Altimeter 3062.
Yeah, it's close enough. That's pretty good. Okay, so that looks right. That looks right. Everything else, yeah, I think we're okay.
Set. Taxi checklist. Brakes.
Okay. So before I go too far, I want to get a flight plan in here. So I'll go over here and click on flight plan. Spin the little knob. Highlight. That's Jamestown. Enter. And go back to flight plan. Menu. Activate leg. Okay. So looks like that's all set up. We'll see if this guy works today. Hopefully it does. We're waiting for the engine to get warmed up here. Where are we at? Not quite there yet. So there's oil pressure. And the next one down is oil temperature, and we're a little bit below the green, so okay. Yeah, so hopefully it goes a little better than it did yesterday. Few too many problems. Let me think here a minute. So I'm on ground. Set COM 1 standby 118.10.
COM 1 standby set to 118.1.
Okay. So we have ground in the active. We have in the standby we have tower. So we're talking to ground right now. He'll give us permission to taxi. Let me check. Say active runway.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf arriving and departing runway 06.
Okay. So we'll set the heading bug for 06. Say wind.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf Erie International Ridge winds are 230 at 10 knots.
Why? Why are we taking off on 6? If the winds are 230, I'm sure I actually heard it right. Yeah, 230. So that we should be taking off on runway 24. What is going on with the weather here? Let me look. Let's see if I can get this to come up in there. I'm not sure it will. Yeah, it did. Weather. Yeah, yeah, that's set up right. Oh. So what I'm not sure if I change this in the middle, how that's going to work out. But I would set up on NOAA weather and not sim weather. We'll see if it changes. I doubt if it will. Say winds.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf Erie International Ridge winds are 230 at 10 knots.
Say active runway.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf arriving and departing runway 06.
That doesn't make no sense. So what does get ATIS?
Erie International Tom Ridge Field. Information. November 1600 Zulu. Wind 240 degrees at 8 knots. Visibility more than 10 miles. Sky conditions few at 30,000. Temperature 1. Dew point -5. Altimeter 3064. Arriving runway 24. Departing runway 24. Advise on an
TechCom 1 standby 118.10.
COM 1 standby set to 118.14.
Alright, we're gonna hide this. We'll see if I can kind of make this thing do what I want it to do. Look at the temp. Yeah, we're good. Cessna 6 Bravo Golf ready to taxi to runway 24.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf taxi to runway 24 via taxiways Delta, Alpha, hold short runway 02, and runway 24. Taxi to runway 24 via taxiways Delta, Alpha, hold short runway 02, and runway 24 Cessna 6 Bravo Golf.
Say wind.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf Erie International Ridge winds are 230 at 10 knots.
Okay. I just wanted to check and make sure that the winds weren't low enough that I could take off either end, but 10 knots? No, that's not true. Okay. We'll go on our way here. Okay, so that's moving now. Okay. So the other thing I'm gonna jump out of the cockpit, put on the brake, jump out. Can't do this in real life. So I'm gonna go back behind the airplane. Just want to make sure that that's working the way it should. Yesterday when I went to take off, I had to apply full right rudder completely. Get the plane to go down the runway. Well, let me rephrase that. To keep it on the runway. I was on the left side completely, and but I was full right rudder trying to get it back to the right, and that wasn't happening. So, but at least it stayed on the runway, so it didn't go off. So, alrighty. Yeah, looks like not too bad a day today. So we'll see how it goes. So, what's our temperature today? 2. Okay. So we're above freezing, so that's better than we were yesterday. Yesterday we were, I don't know, -4, -5, something like that. So that's better. So, and this guy's working the way he should be. So that and that should be in alignment, and it was not. It basically what it was is this wasn't moving at all. It took me. I was halfway to Jamestown before I actually realized what was going on. So I didn't catch it anywhere near early enough. So I was just kind of like, what I was curious is why my GPS why it wasn't following the GPS. Well, it's looking at this.
Cessna
if
6
that
Bravo
isn't right,
Golf cross runway 02.
if that
Cross
isn't
runway
right,
02 Cessna 6 Bravo Golf.
if that isn't right or isn't moving, then it's of course it's not gonna give you a proper course. So at least I had the magenta line to follow. So I was looking and but trying to get lined up for that first landing, that was kind of a nightmare. But I pulled it off. So, but hoping for better today. So this will be the second stream that I'm flying with the G1000, and it's all a bit of a learning experience here. They are so different to the steam gauges. So just all the same information is there. It's just how it's laid out. So like when you're doing pattern work, you're getting ready to do a landing, that kind of stuff. That's kind of where it's different. Where I used to look, my muscle memory tells me to look there, but I look there and it's nothing. There's nothing there what I was expecting to see. So, but I'm getting better about it. I understand how things work. So. Yeah, and before I got the Beyond, the previous headsets I had, at least the way I was looking at it is, the numbers and stuff were just not clear enough for me to, for any headset that I had used. So, and I have used an HP Reverb G2. I've used Vive Pro 2, which was my last headset. And I also have like a valve index. I put the valve index on and look at these screens, and it's like I just cannot. I haven't tried to run the super sampling up higher, but what I was looking at, it was just like it's not clear enough. It's just going to be too much.
Cessna 6
too much
Bravo Golf
strain.
contact tower on 118.1. Have a good flight. Tower on 118.1 Cessna 6 Bravo Golf.
Just too much strain on my eyes. So, like, no. Okay. So my co-pilot helped me out and switch the frequencies. Whoops. Hello. Come on. When you overcorrect, then so I have to get my nose wheel past this hold short line right here. Okay. So I put brake on. I turn the taxi off. Land on. Nav on. Strobe on. Okay. Everything looks pretty good. Let's look. We all in the green? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, pretty good. Cessna 6 Bravo Golf ready for departure.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf contact ground on 121.9er for taxi instructions.
Ground on 121.9er for taxi. Cessna 6 Bravo Golf.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf winds are 230 at 10 knots cleared for takeoff, runway 24.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 24 Cessna 6 Bravo Golf.
Okay. Trim wheel looks right. Flaps are up. Guess we can go fly. So it looks like we got to be on a heading of 94. So we're kind of going to take off going the wrong direction, but we know how to fix that. Okay, doke. So ATIS and and pilot to ATC, as far as the winds and direction, we're pretty close. Oh yeah, this is way better. Yeah, way better. So, but but it was given the wrong runway. I don't know why it was doing that, but it was. So. Just trying to keep it straight down the runway here. I was a little bit to the right. Oh, hazy. Didn't see that until I got off the ground. Okay, we're at pattern altitude. Go ahead and turn this way. Trying to get on course here. So I'm looking to be of a heading of 90.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, have a good morning. Frequency change approved.
Cool. That's basically you're on your own. All right, I'm gonna pull the power back a bit here. Trying to get plane set up for an intercept here. I want to get past the airport before I do that. Okay. Trying to get plane about level here. So putting a little bit of trim in. Maybe a bit more. Alright, I'm pretty much set up for an intercept. Flight director, autopilot, nav, altitude. We're not quite at a 45, you know, but we'll intercept that line there. So we'll go up to that line, and when the airplane goes across, basically when the wing center of the plane goes across the magenta line there, then the plane will turn and go back on course. Because right now we're on a course of about 60. So we're on a course of about due east, and we have to go northeast. So we're getting closer, and so the plane's starting to turn again. So it's starting to turn to try to get lined up, so that when it does hit that line, then it's actually going to be on a heading of what is it supposed to be? 93. So we're at 82 right now. You know, I was asking myself if I had charged up my VR controllers, and I was for sure that I did, but I didn't. So when I got ready to start the stream about 10 minutes before, I looked down and went, "Oh, there's 60%." I went, "Well, we'll charge them for 10 minutes. Hopefully, it'll be enough." So. Alrighty, I'm gonna go down in altitude, so I'm gonna click vertical speed and nose down. And then I'm gonna set the altitude at 3,000. Alright. So when it goes down to 3,000, it should capture, so. Yep, captured. All the things that on a G1000 that I'm just learning to, they're just different than the stream gauge, so. But all in all, I'm pretty happy. So, I'm happy with the headset. I'm happy that I can actually fly glass cockpits, and so that's all cool. So I'll probably be flying this for, I don't know, maybe 4 flights, maybe 5, just to get completely comfortable with the G1000, doing landings and that kind of stuff. And then the plan is to migrate to go back to 22. I'm gonna migrate to a 208. So something I've never flown in real life. So I was playing around with the RAND 208, and I was playing around with the throttle and stuff, and how to make the how to get the throttle in the beta and that kind of stuff. And I was thinking I had to map a button and that stuff to put in the beta, but in VR I don't have to. I can actually grab the throttle, pick it up, and that basically gets it over the gate, and then I can pull it back and put it in the beta. So I was trying to do it when the engine wasn't running, but you can't do that. You have to do it while the engine's running. So I played around with that. I need to reset the seat height. It's all wrong. I'm like way too high in that cockpit. So I need to reset that. I thought I already had, and I'll probably do that after the stream today. And because I'll have my yoke and stuff all set up. And so that gives me a good reference. So I want to get that all done. I was having trouble in VR with a couple of basically every switch, the nav lights, the taxi lights, all of them, none of them would work. I'd flip them up and they'd flip back down. Well, because the pop-out menu isn't working right in VR, I made a Live with Lewis script to kind of emulate it. Well, I was emulating the all lights on, all exterior lights on, all interior lights on, and that was conflicting with the actual switches in the cockpit. So I will I removed what was conflicting, and I'll remove that so it won't even be on the in the Fly with Lewis script. So I don't need it. So I'm only putting things in there I really need. So once I get done with that, then I'll be much closer. So it's a few things I need to do to make it be ready for me. So it looks like we're 14 minutes away. So this is an updated IPD version. My original one was 66. My eye doctor many years ago now said I was 67. And my the Bigscreen Beyond scan said I was 65. So I decided I would go in between, halfway in between. So 65, 67, I'll do a 66. Well, that turned out to be wrong. So I did some testing, and then now the recommendation is -1 from the scan. So I said, all right, I'll go 64. So I went down by 2, and now I can go. Okay, blurry there, clear. It starts to get blurry right about there. So I have from here to about there is clear. So with my 66, if I would be clear here, and as I turn my head, not very much, maybe 5 or 10 degrees. All of a sudden that altimeter 3000, it would get a blur spot in it. If I kept turning and then looked out of my right eye, you know, then it would become clear again. So in the center of my vision, you know, where the two lenses kind of overlapped each other, it was blurry. And so this is fixed for that. So, but I also have a problem. My left eye, the way the gasket's made, and it's a custom gasket, my left lens is way further away from my eye than my right one is. And so I got with the one of the developers that's working with me, and he asked if I had an iPhone to do another scan, and if I was willing to do it, and I said yes. So we'll wait till he gets back with me. It's coming up on Christmas time, so they're very busy, and so we'll see how this works out. So, but so far, I mean, I've been really happy with the customer service. So it's been fine. So, and the colors are just outstanding. I mean, just the like that magenta just jumps out at you. It's so cool. And especially like over here, like that's easily 11.41, you know, that I can easily see that. The only problems I have is a little bit is like these this text down here on the bottom. Pretty much everything going down is clear. Now down at the bottom, you know, where it says PDF, I see a CDI, that's probably CRS. Those are a little difficult. I can go in that far and I can see them, you know, so it's not terrible. The fact I can fly a glass cockpit though is pretty cool for me. That I've just never been able to do that in VR. Never. How should I rephrase it? It just never seemed clear enough for me to be comfortable doing it. But I also knew that because of that, I was basically missing out on a lot of aircraft, you know. So that was the first thing I tried when I put the Beyond on, and even with the center of my vision being kind of blurry, I knew for sure that I can fly glass cockpits now and be comfortable in. Like this GPS 8, this is like crystal clear up here. I mean, including the little ones, the little, 126.000, 120.350. I mean, they're crystal clear. I mean, so that is a tremendous improvement. Okay, 10 minutes out. So we'll be doing a touch and go here. So. Let's see. So it says I have a tower. I don't believe it. Oh, what do you think I have? No tower. Does AWA say runway? I wonder.
Sky clear. Temperature 0. Dew point -6. Altimeter 3065. Arriving runway 25. Departing runway 25. Advise on initial contact. You have information. Sierra.
Okay. Runway 25 it is. Oh. Well, get that 25. And I will, so put Unicom. They active runway.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf arriving and departing runway 07.
Say weather.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf weather at Kilo Juliet Hotel Whiskey is clear. Visibility is 10 miles, winds are 240 at 6 knots, cloud coverage is clear. Current altimeter is 3058. Temperature 1 dew point -3.
Wow. Why the heck is pilot to ATC so far off? That's nuts. So ATA says, basically we're landing on 25. The wind, 240, so certainly closer to 25 than to 7. So it's like, whatever. Oh, that's just crazy. Oh well. I know what I'm doing. So, looks like we're lined up for a downwind on runway 25. And, well, that's what we'll do. That's a little disappointing. Usually pilot ATC is pretty close, but not today. And maybe because, let me try this. I'm going to disconnect that. and then connect back. So I was, say weather.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf weather at Kilo Juliet Hotel Whiskey is clear.
Good morning.
Visibility is
Iowa,
10 miles,
Scotsman.
winds are 240 at 6 knots, cloud coverage is clear. Current altimeter is 3058. Temperature 1 dew point -3.
Say active runway.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf arriving and departing runway 07.
No. No. Not with winds of 240 and you have a runway 25. That'll make no sense. Oh well. How are you doing this morning? Hope all is well with you. My day is going much better than it did yesterday. Okay. See if I can figure out how to get this autopilot off. Let's see what this button does. Not much. Alright. Flight loader autopilot. I'll figure it out. Seems like there's got to be an easier way to kind of like hit the right buttons here. So we're about 8 miles out from the airport. It's pretty much right in front of me, so. So I'm set up pretty much to do a downwind for runway 25. There's no tower, even though there's one modeled in there's one modeled in X-Plane. But it doesn't appear like there's really a tower there. But I need to go look on Google Maps and see. Maybe there used to be, maybe it used to be manned, but it's not now, so. I haven't quite found the runway at the airport yet. What's altitude? Okay, 1700. I better stay up a little bit here, Bill. Yeah, it's got to be right out there in front of me. So 3.6 miles out. Oh, I'm thinking that's the runway there. Looks about right. Should be downwind for runway 25. One knot to flaps. Second knot to flaps. Second need to roll her in. Not bad. thought it was a little too slow, so I had to give it quite a bit of power to kind of get it start acting right. But all turned out okay in the end. Still trying to understand this turn coordinator. So I assume that, yeah, that's what it is. Okay. So that's a standard rate turn. So, okay, got it. Just seems steep, but okay, we got to be on a heading of 10. So wait till I get out past the airport here. And then I got to head north. Yeah, it's turned out a lot better. I'm quite happy so far. Trying to get her to level up here about 3,000. Be about high enough. Next airport, same elevation as Erie, about 600 feet. So. Okay. Yeah, should be good with my controllers. Okay, so it's trying to intercept the GPS course. So this big lake here. This is Lake Chautauqua. So compared to Lake Erie, it's not very big, but as lakes go, it's a pretty big lake. I forgot how many miles long it is. It's a lot. But Jamestown is on the end of it. You have Jamestown, you have, there's a thing called the Chautauqua Institute. It's kind of, I don't know what to call it, but kind of like a higher learning community, I guess is the right way to say it. And but you have all kinds of homes along the lakeshore here. I mean, and they're not cheap. they're really expensive. So we're on our way to Dunkirk now. Dunkirk has probably the nearest coal-fired power plant to us. And last I knew, it was still in operation. So, because when you go the other way, so this should be going east from Erie, and you go west from Erie, and there's KERI. That's a nuclear power plant. So. So we're 15 miles away. What is it? A little bit over 8 miles away. 8 minutes to go. So, over to this guy. So I put the Unicom for Dunkirk in the standby. So did it have weather? Oh, it does. 210, so that's a 24, so it should be on 24. So let me dial that in. So that means I'll be approaching on a 45 for downwind of 24. Oops. Looked over and I went, I'm at 3,400. I wanted to be at 3,000. So I set the vertical speed and then hit the nose down a couple of times to make it minus 300 feet per minute. And so it should go ahead and pull the power back a little bit. And so should go down 3,000 and capture and be good to go. At least my initial impression of G1000s are way easier. Wow. It's a lot more information. You just have to figure out where it is, but a lot more information. Was trying to figure out, so I got this diamond here and then this bar underneath it. And that's basically your turn coordinator. So, slip indicator, I guess would be the right term. And so I was looking at it and it was off a little bit, you know, when I was making my turn. I could see there's a bar right here. So when I was making my turn, that should have been a standard rate turn. And I seen that it wasn't lined up in the bottom of the arrow. So give it a little rudder to kind of get that lined up. So. Say weather.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf weather at Kilo Delta Kilo Kilo is clear. Visibility is 10 miles, winds are 250 at 14 knots, gusts to 22 knots, cloud coverage is clear. Current altimeter is 3060. Temperature 6 dew point -2.
Say active runway.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf arriving and departing runway 06.
How could it be like that far off? I mean, it's 180 degrees off. That doesn't make no sense. Well, I'm gonna pay you no attention. I'll have to look at the logs. something is definitely amiss. And I disconnected and reconnected, thinking that maybe I have to really start and stop it, because it was over on NOAA, and I put it on SimWeather, so SimWeather should be taking this. But maybe I actually have to start and stop it, which I am not going to do. So, alrighty. So 5 miles out. Well, since the button doesn't seem to do much, we'll seems like a lot of buttons you have to push. I am certainly doing it wrong. Okay, so we're about 600 feet, so 1600 would be pattern, and I'm at 2900, so I need to get rid of some elevation here. So the runway should be pretty much right in front of me. Yeah, you can see the runway there. So that's the one I'm going for. It's not real clear where it is. Oh, there it is. Very clear. I was just blind. Alrighty, so yep. So it's that runway there. So we'll I'll get rid of a little bit more elevation. I'm not doing too bad, actually. Let's let her keep descending here. Okay, pretty close to pattern. I'm in here to 70, 25, 45. Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, downwind runway 24. There we go. I'm a little bit wide, but that's okay. Not a lot. Hold back a little bit. One not to flaps. Looking for a 45. A little slow, not too bad though. I probably can do that. Yeah. Second notch of flaps. Cessna 6 Bravo Golf turning final for runway 24.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, this is Chautauqua County, Dunkirk, Unicom on 123.07. Please repeat your request.
There's that statement. So 2 notches of flaps in. A little bit high. It's almost ballooned. Oh, that was too early for you, huh? Oh, okay, all right. Let's see how you are. Not bad. Yeah. I think I may figure this out. I keep our runway underneath me. So we're just gonna head straight out. This is the direction we gotta fly to, so. Yeah, I'm looking pretty good. Climbing out at that 600 feet a minute. Almost looks like it is. So PIT must be pitch hold, I think. We'll have to look that up. I'm kind of wondering what it's going to do when it gets to 3,000. I know what I'm hoping it does, but I'm not sure what it does. So I'm running this headset at 75 hertz. And so it can run at 75 or 90. And I'm running it at 75, so I'm basically getting half of that. So I'm getting 38. So, and that's solid. I mean, 37, 38. That's where it is. So Right now it's about frame times 13, about 13 and a half minutes. So 13 and a half milliseconds. So no, it won't. Back to 2150 should be good. So we'll do vertical speed. I'll do nose down, couple. So that'll get rid of that extra elevation. And then they get it captured. So yeah, seems to work pretty good. So we're about half an hour, 27 minutes to get to Erie. So, and that'll be the end for today. Yeah, today turned out way better. Yesterday's stream, just too many things weren't working, and I'm kind of a bit picky. The stream has to be good enough in my mind, or I won't put it on YouTube. So yesterday it wasn't good enough for me, and so I just said I'd just do this again. Seemed like the weather was going to be better, and it absolutely was. It's a lot nicer. Kind of it shows off the clouds and stuff. And I'm running real weather today, so. And the temperature right now where I am is about the same as part of the day. Yesterday was even colder. So right now it's like minus 2°C outside air temp. So so all in all, I'm quite happy with my new headset. I am. They're gonna send me a new scan, and so they're gonna redo. They made some improvements on how they scan and how they do the facial interface. So they offered me to scan it, do another scan, and they're gonna give me a free another free facial interface. So it's kind of like, oh, okay, yeah. And my two questions were asked is, do you have an iOS phone that can do it? And do you want to do it? And so I went, yes. And just send me the, so they'll send me an email, you know, with the link to, basically it's an app you run. So you run an app on the iPhone, and basically you do a couple of things. One is when it's scanning, so it basically gets you kind of set up, and then you basically, so you turn your head, it says turn your head to the left or the right, I can't remember which, but you turn your head to the, slowly, and you turn your head to the left, and then you turn it through to the center, and then it says turn it to the left. Then you turn your head to the left, and if everything's okay, when you turn your head back, it says, hey, we got it. So that's basically how they make the facial interface, is from these scans, and it's the Bigscreen Beyond app. So it's their app, and it doesn't. The iPhone has to have an Apple ID, and the reason for that is so they know that that phone is in a country that they ship it to. That's the reason for it. And but once it has that, it just basically forgot what it's called. It's an app, but it's a different kind of app. And so it doesn't really download it. It runs in the Safari browser. So it's kind of cool how they do that, and the fact that they figured it all out is kind of even cooler. So. So I've reduced the brightness from 100% to 70. If you turn the brightness down, you'll get rid of persistence. So in other words, when you turn your head real fast, you may get motion blur. So I've been trying to reduce the brightness to see if it's ever too dim for me. So far not. And the lower you can get it, the better your maybe. The lower you can run your brightness, the less persistence it'll have. So it's a learning experience. There's a golf course. So when I first started using X-World, I didn't have golf courses. And all that you would see is like green patches of ground, where the default scenery had golf courses. So I had to modify my X-World a little bit to make them show up. So now they actually look pretty nice. I'm pretty happy with how they look. Because it didn't show the greens, or it didn't show the sand traps, and they're kind of those kind of landmarks. I mean, you can see them from miles away. So the fact they weren't there was kind of annoying. So this is, let me think here a minute, X-Plane 12.08.0.8, release candidate 3. So kind of looking like we're pretty close to the end of this life. And sounds like the next version is going to be 12.1.0, and that appears like that's going to go out to alpha testers or developers first. Is what it sounds like. So don't know any of that for real. It's just what I've kind of heard in the rumor mill. And as far as VR goes, I have to admit, other anti-aliasing needs work. This headset helps a lot. So I'm running the resolution. I'm super sampling. So instead of this headset's 2548 or somewhere's around there, and I'm running it at what, 3068, I think. Look. Yep, 3064. So I'm super sampling it, so it's gonna look a little bit nicer than it would at native. When I'm looking at my milliseconds, I probably could super sample it a little bit more and not affect it. I know when I did that before, the frames didn't change at all. But I thought the frame time went up a little bit, but the more I look at it, I don't think so. I think it was about the same, so I could easily do that. And there's other usability things in VR that I'd like improved, but on my system the performance is okay. But I'm running an i9 13900K with a 4090, 64 gigs of RAM. So I'm running high-end flight sim range. So my performance is not probably what a lot of people are getting. So, but the sad thing is that they improve performance and then they put more eye candy in. So it's kind of like a no-win situation. So. But it does sound like the next version is related to graphics. So and From what I understand, it's related to improving. So it's going to be improving how they basically render the image. So since in VR you render 2 of them, any of that's good news. So. So flying along the shores of Lake Erie, this is pretty much in this area grape country. So there's vineyards everywhere. It's almost all of the open land that you see here. Without my Ortho for XP, it's not as obvious, but pretty much any of these flat parcels of ground here that don't have any trees on them, they're probably vineyards. Lots of them. There's hundreds of thousands of acres of vineyards in this along the shoreline of Lake Erie on this side. There's some on west of Erie, some, not as much as over here. On the east side of Erie, there it's a lot. And they go all the way from the shoreline up to, it's kind of hard to see it, but as the land runs here along the, running south here, it'll rise in elevation about 500, 600, 700 feet. And basically to where that crest is normally vineyard country. When you get up over the hill, the winters, the growing season is shorter. So it's not as conducive for growing grapes, but people do. So it's just not as predominant as on this area, the shoreline into the where the elevation change is. Because evidently the lake used to be bigger. It used to actually go to where the elevation goes up. This all used to be underwater many years ago. But so we live where the lake used to be. Because all this was made during the Ice Age, so it's kind of cool how it all turned out, where you have these big freshwater lakes, and they all, from where they start, they all end up going towards Niagara Falls and St. Louis Seaway, I guess, where that ends up going. So, but it's kind of a cool place to live. You can see barely in the distance, you can see our peninsula coming up. About 300 acres of a peninsula, so it's a good-sized peninsula. And it basically protects the harbor in Erie. So the boats and stuff can, even if it's pretty bad out, they still can go out in the bay and do boating. Because the bay's pretty big, and they can do boating there. Even if it's pretty rough out on the lake, that you probably wouldn't want to go out on the lake if it's that rough. So, where along here, there's no protection. So when the storms come on Lake Erie, you know, these shorelines get battered pretty good. So, some of them are pretty close to the water. And then other ones are kind of have like cliffs, you know, up where the water is. So. Set COM1 standby 118.10.
COM1 standby set to 118.1.
Okay, it's tower for Erie. Set COM 1 standby 121.90.
Com 1 standby set to 121.9er.
Well, the microphone must be performing pretty good because Pilot Command has got every one of my commands correct. I think with the exception of an altitude. My first altitude I tried to put in, it thought I said something completely different. It wasn't the numbers were off, it was the command itself was off. So that crick right there, let me look where I am. I think I know where I am. Yeah. So that's 20 Mile Creek. So it runs, so basically all the creeks along the shore here, they're all, how far are you from Erie? And right now we're 20.6 miles from the airport. That is 20 miles away. So that's how they name them. So it's 20 mile, there's a 12 mile, there's a 16 mile, the 6 mile. And so that's how, going this way to the east side, that's how they're all named. The ones going to the west side, they're actually have names. They don't have mile markers. They're actual names like Walnut Creek and other ones like that they just name them differently on the east and on the west side of Erie. Because all of them kind of do the same thing. They kind of go from to the south, and they flow into the lake. Hello? Okey-doke. Put a map up. Yeah, I thought it was pretty close. So this is northeast. Trying to get my bearings. So over to the left here, that's where I used to work at Welch's. So trying to find the railroad. Yeah, it's right there. Okay. So that's where I spent well, almost 50 years of my life in that plant. So with the exception of the 3 years I was in the service, I spent right in that plant. First I was just did general labor, and then when I come back from the service I had some electronic training, and so when I first come back I wanted my old job back, and but they supposedly were give it to you. they got rid of that job. That job was a little too cushy, so they got rid of that one. And so I started driving forklift. And so I drove forklift for about 2 years after I got back from the service, and then I kind of says I really want to be an electrician, and I had electrical training in the service, so so the only way you could actually get entry would be to be a mechanic. So I used to work on a dairy farm, so it isn't like I didn't have some mechanical skills. My dad was a mechanic, you know, so I had those I had enough of those skills, so I went ahead and they hired me as a mechanic, and about 2 years of being a mechanic, one of the electricians, he seen the writing on the wall, and he decided to leave, so I took his position, and was an electrician ever since. So So I was there 49 years, and I was an electrician for about 42 or 43 of those years. So, and what I learned as my electronics training initially was kind of not a fit. It's like I couldn't learn, but just what you did and the drawings you used were just so foreign. They were so different. But luckily, they had a course over in New York, over in Fredonia at the college. Basically, it was like an industrial electrician course, and one of the electrical wholesalers put it on, and learned a lot. Learned a lot pretty quick. It was 8 weeks, and we go over there, I think twice a week, and learned a lot. And so I understood the difference between electronics and being an electrician and electronics. So, but not that long after I started as an electrician, all of a sudden electronics become really important in how everything was controlled. So you went from basically relays to and everything like hardware to computers were running things, and that was then in about 85, something like that. So that background helped a lot. That what I knew from in the service helped a lot that way. So, and like the senior electrician had basically no interest. He had no interest in learning the new stuff. He just had no interest. So kind of like went, okay. So instead of like working on like this big panel that's got like, say, I don't know, between 50 and 200 relays in it, I can basically set at a terminal, and at a terminal I can actually program all the wiring that you'd have in the panel. So I could do that at a keyboard. Kind of like went, okay, I'll figure out how to do this. so that's kind of how I started, and kind of after I had went to school for it, come back, my electrical engineer, he basically, we converted one of the palletizers from relays to a PLC, and that's what they were called, is programmable logic controllers. And so they so basically he figured out the logic and says, okay, I'll give you a week, rip out all the relays, put this programmable logic controller in, and in a week I expect you to have it running. I was like, well, that's a lot of confidence. so but that's what I did. I didn't have to do anything else. I just spent every day that I went to work, I spent on that project. And sure enough, in a week it run. And we had some bugs, but it's all in learning. And so it absolutely worked. I mean, I was, so I learned a ton that way, where basically you're given you're given a task and you're given an amount of time, and it's kind of like figure it out. and he was good. I mean, if I got stuck, he would come and and give me a hand. But I didn't call him much. But learned a lot though. Okay, we're 8 miles out, so doing a little looking here. Okay, doke. So, say active runway.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf arriving and departing runway 24.
Say weather.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf weather at Kilo Echo Romeo India is clear. Visibility is 10 miles, winds are 220 at 11 knots, cloud coverage is clear. Current altimeter is 3061. Temperature 5 dew point -2.
So for some reason on that one, she got the weather right. So, no idea. Alrighty, let's we got about 7 miles to go, and I got to do some maneuvering. I can see the runway, so let's see what I can do here. Okay, I'm getting better. So we're at 3,000. Pattern altitude here is about 1,800. So we got to get a little lower. I can see the runway. It's right there. So 24, it's going to be going this way. So I'm going to come out this way and do a 45 at the, do a 30, a 45 degree approach. I'm looking for 79. That's the Bayfront Highway. So the Bayfront Highway comes off of 90, comes along the shoreline, and then goes along the shore. It's called Bayfront Connector, and goes along the shoreline, and then it goes back up. It's over there. So when I find that, I'll basically, I can actually do it right now. So I'm just going to go to the south a little bit here. Because I can see the 4-lane right there. So it's a little hazy. It's not as easy probably to see in the screen, but I also know what I'm looking for, so. So I have my ground frequency on my standby, so when I land, I'll be able to contact ground on. Yeah, so it'll be interesting when I do my scan and they give me a different facial interface, what difference that's going to make. It's right now, when I look at it, my left eye is away from the lens quite a bit, a lot more than the right one. So I'm not so sure why that all is that way, but it is. And so we'll see if they can get that resolved. And one thing for sure, the closer you can get to these lenses, the better it looks. So my facial interface is pretty thick. And so I'm away from the lenses, certainly on the left side quite a bit. And so if I can get closer, it'll look better than it does right now, and it looks pretty good right now. So what that improves is it improves the field of view, and it improves the blur. It improves both of them. So and none of that. The field of view is smaller, coming from a Vive Pro 2. So it's smaller, but it's not. For me, it's not a showstopper at all. The lightness of it is just incredible, and the fact that the native SteamVR headset is really cool. Where, I mean, all I need to do is I just start up X-Plane, tell it to go into VR, and it automatically starts up SteamVR, and it starts up my base stations all by itself. So I don't need to do nothing. So that's 79 there. That 4-laner there going out, that goes south to the it ends up in Pittsburgh. And so there's the airport. Just trying to get far enough south and west of the airport. Get out here far enough, I'll turn in. I'll do a 45 approach. But I just got to get out here a little bit further. If you do it too close to the where you gotta where the threshold is, you just have to do things a little too quickly, and I need to make a turn, and I got to get rid of a little bit of elevation. I'm about 600, 700, 800 feet, a little too high right now, but that's okay because I'm not in the pattern. I'm just kind of cruising along here, kind of looking at scenery, looking at golf courses. Okay, tear out like this a little bit. Gives me just a little bit more room. And we'll get her to come around. Okay, not too bad right here. It's been a little bit more power. Actually, quite a bit more power. Coming in at a 45. Thereabouts. Cessna 6 Bravo Golf inbound to land.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf report left downwind for runway 24.
Will report left downwind for runway 24 Cessna 6 Bravo Golf.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf downwind runway 24. Cessna 6 Bravo Golf downwind runway 24.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf altimeter is 3061, call turning final for runway 24.
3062. And I'll call final. Okay. Getting way more comfortable in G1000. Knowing where all the gauges, where to look. Okay. Okay, that should be good. Descend. I keep pulling up on the yoke, and then I lose airspeed. And I have altitude to lose, so alright. Looking pretty good. Not too bad. That's not a 6 Bravo Golf turning final.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf winds are 220 at 11 knots, cleared to land runway 24.
Okay.
Cleared to land runway 24 Cessna 6 Bravo Golf.
So we got 2 notches of flat fin. approach is pretty good. Pretty happy. Trimmed up. About 70 knots. Whoops. Whoa. Trying to stop for
Cessna
this.
6 Bravo Golf exit runway when able.
Just trying to get stopped for this one. Almost took the plane overdoing it. Oops, stop. There we go. Okay, cool. Yeah, not too bad. I was running out of airspeed. Grab you, put you here. Click on the, there we go. Stop. Oh, sorry. I thought I pulled it back, and now I guess I didn't. Okay. I'll touch the light on now. Strobe. Landing. Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, clear of active runway 24.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, welcome to Erie International Ridge, contact ground on 121.9er. Enjoy your afternoon.
I plan on
Ground on 121.9er Cessna 6 Bravo Golf.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, request taxi to general aviation parking. Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, request taxi to general aviation parking.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf taxi to general aviation parking via taxiways Alpha, Echo, Bravo, hold short runway 02. Taxi to general aviation parking via taxiways Alpha, Echo, Bravo, hold short runway 02 Cessna 6 Bravo Golf.
Okay, made it back home. Yeah, it's turned out quite a bit better. Remember when I was learning how to fly, there's a run-up area right here. And we had taxied out from the hangars, and it was in the winter time. And so we taxied out there, and we were doing a run-up. And so when we did a run-up, so you had the plane, we were going to take off on 2-4, so we're going to go this way I'm going now. So I had the plane spun around that way into the wind, and I was doing the run-up, and I looked, and I was flying with my instructor. I said to my instructor, I said, "What is that?" And so we looked out to the west here. It was like a wall of clouds coming, and you couldn't see nothing. And so wasn't that long. It was minutes. All of a sudden, it was the front. It was a snow front come through, and it put inches of snow on the plane. Kind of like, I think we're done. So meanwhile, there's a turboprop commercial that had taxied past us. And the tower, so the tower is like right here. The tower's not that far away. The tower lost track of both of us. so they called our call sign. They says, "Where are you?" Because they can't see either one of us. So they wanted to make sure we were
Cessna 6
keeping
Bravo
apart
Golf
from
cross
each other.
runway 02.
And
Cross runway 02
so-
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf.
so we told them, you know, that we were in the run-up area. So they said, "You just stay there." So we stayed there. And they had the commercial. He had to come back. He had to come back and get de-iced. So he taxis out onto the runway and then back and back taxis on the runway to get back and get de-iced again. So after he left, you know, then they let us proceed. So I started taxiing and you can't see nothing. Of course, there's no windshield wipers on there, so you got like snow on your windshield. You can't reach out and get it. And so you get there's like barely a hole you could see. And I said to my instructor, I says, "Your airplane." You know, I said, "You can taxi this thing back." I says, "I'm not comfortable at all." So he taxied it back, you know, and so on the tower, of course, the tower was kind of keeping track of where the heck we were. So, but I'll never forget that experience. I was just like, and it just come out of nowhere. Because I normally would do a weather briefing, and I didn't. That wasn't in any briefing I got. So, but I'll never forget that. Because there was, and it was just wet snow. I mean, there had to be 2 or 3 inches of snow on the wings. So, kind of like, no, this plane ain't gonna fly. So we had and what the hangars were over here. So not these hangars, but further over. And so we had to get the plane back there. Don't stop. Thank you. All righty. Hello. How are you? I just got done. I did a poor job of parking, but I'm not going to fix it. How is Downwind doing? Battery off. Whoops. Forgot that. Okay. Yeah, for some reason yesterday I did basically the same flight, and the HSI and the G1000 was broke, and I'm running the REP 172. It's broke. It didn't work, and I didn't catch it right away until I had taken off, and I'm like on my way to Jamestown. I'm like, so I tried to put the autopilot on. The autopilot was doing things I wasn't sure why it was doing it. And then I looked at the HSI and went, why is that not moving? And I looked at my compass and I went, that's not right. So I ended up getting to Jamestown. I couldn't believe how difficult it was to try to use a compass and then get yourself lined up with the runway, you know, when you don't have a heading indicator. I mean, it's kind of like, that was a little difficult. But I figured it out, got it landed, and then I flew the default 172 back to Dunkirk and then back to Erie. And so I said, well, let me do it correctly today. And the other thing I didn't have is I didn't have my camera on either, and I kind of wanted to show off the headset, and so I put got the camera working. I just so I made it as part of my checklist to have it working. So, but it all went well today, so I think I'll put this one up on YouTube. So, but been enjoying myself. So But I think I'm going to call it a day. So, so I think I don't know what would have caused that. I kind of like did some Googling, and I know that can happen in real life, but I'm not so sure what in the sim would break that would make the HSI on a G1000 not work. I'm at a loss. But the weather turned out nicer today, so it was a pretty nice flight. So, without further ado, gonna call it a day, and I'll don't know when I'll stream again, but been enjoying this headset. I'm quite happy with my choice. Very happy. Yeah, I couldn't find any information. I left the post on for the 172 on the rep section of the 172, and I'll just wait for Claudio to kind of chime in, see if he has any ideas. So it was just a little nuts, and I didn't realize, like, not having that, how important that is. That was really important. So, alrighty, if you enjoyed this content, please click on the follow button, like my fellow friends have done, and so when I go live, you'll see me. So, without further ado, gonna call it a day, and have a great day. Thank you so much for stopping by. Bye bye.